Yes. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Sorry, a little bit late. Been building garden furniture, not garnered. Anyway, been building garden furniture all day. So apologies. Tiny little bit late. Hope you're all well. Welcome to the members only show. You'll see there'll be fewer of you than normal. But what we'll do is we'll put the link in. And then if anyone does want to come on, this is a chance for everyone to just have a chat. For anyone that's done one of these shows before, this is chilled, it's relaxed, it's calm. There's going to be no trolls unless any of my members are trolls. There's going to be no trolls. There's going to be no name calling. And it's just a chance for if anyone wants to join, wants to chat football, if anyone wants to just sit back and listen, then it's there for everybody to do whatever they want to do. So everyone in here will be a member. Love these shows. We'll be doing one of these once a week. But listen, while I put the link in, let me put the link in the chat. Yeah, no Reezies, no Matts, no Reezies, none of these types who I love to debate with. I'll put the link in the chat. There it is. Let's have a look, shall we? As far as I'm concerned, I've been seeing it while I've been getting ready, been working, that Tottenham, it's all but done. It's all but done. So Justin Cochrane has now approved the contract as new Spurs assistant coach. Cochrane will leave Brentford despite the club's efforts to keep him, as he wants to join Thomas Frank at Tottenham. He will continue his involvement with England national team coaching staff. So there we go. A top coach. This is somebody very well thought of in the world of football. Cochrane and Thomas Frank coming in. Let's see what said Thomas Frank an hour ago. This is what Fabrizio Romano said. I'll tell you what, let me show you the screen. Let me pin that. There's the link if anyone wants to join. And again, if anyone maybe who doesn't want to join the main shows, let's have a look. So if we look at what Romano has said, let's see, is that right? No, let's get rid of my ugly mug. There we go. No, too much of my ugly mug. There we go. So if we big up to Mark. I'll bring you in 1 second, my man. Bear with me 1 second, mate. Big up to Gary Officer out there in New York as well. Let's have a little look. So a few hours ago, we got the whole... So Fabrizio Romano, about 2 hours ago, just flagged a post that he had put 2 days ago, which was the "Here we go." Then about an hour ago, he said this. He said that Thomas Frank can be considered as the new Tottenham head coach. Here we go, now confirmed. Justin Cochrane will also join as assistant with Brentford, due to receive compensation of £10 million. And then the next one was, again, news about Justin Cochrane. And apparently that was what was holding up the deal, is that Frank wanted to bring all of his staff with him. Just before I bring my guests on, let's have a little look and see what Ornstein said, because he's been saying a few little bits as well. Let's go have a look at David Ornstein. He said Tottenham Hotspur complete Frank appointment after agreement struck to take Justin Cochrane as assistant. Deal held up by talks over the 43-year-old who was wanted at Brentford and elsewhere but opted for Tottenham, joined by Chris Haslam and Joe Newton. So again, exciting times for Tottenham. Let's remove that. Gentlemen, Mark, first time I believe you've ever come on. You're on mute. You're on mute, though, just so you know. Gary, can you talk? See if it might be a problem of mine. Gary, can you talk?
Can you hear me?
So we've got Gary, Mark. So somewhere your end, you've got some volume down. Somewhere, my friend, somewhere there is volume down. We'll let him play about with that. You've got some Mark, you there? No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Try the old IT line. Try shutting down and coming back in. See if that helps. Gary, how are you, sir, out there in New York? How are you?
Good, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm all right. She's got me doing jobs. And the hay fever is still very much here. Gary, it's a good day. It's a good day, isn't it? It's a lovely day.
I'm pumped, Sav. Like, I didn't feel this way the last 2 years, to be honest. And I'm not an Ange hater, but I want quality, right? I don't want to go into every match thinking like, we're going to get smoked because our defense is shambolic.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's strange because to say that we've not felt like this, and I agree, sorry, bless me, this is going to be a horrible day. And I've taken 3 hay fever tablets. To say we've not felt like that, I feel wrong being like that because we won a trophy, but I never felt as good as this as I do now at the thought of Frank and Cochrane and all those guys. It just feels like a real new era, doesn't it?
Well, I think, Sav, it's because we never knew what we were going to get. Like you said, many others, we have a decent team. We shouldn't have been playing so crazy. We shouldn't have been strategically like each manager knew how to beat us every single time. Right?
Yeah.
We had such a glaring weakness, right? And now we know that, hey, we have a manager who's going to play differently based on the situation. And that's exciting. And we have some young guys that I think he's going to get, some growth out of, and he's going to set up to use like Poro and Udogie properly, right? Instead of being out of position. Would you want to go and play a sport where you're like, hey, this is not my best position?
Yeah.
You're playing me as a power forward and I'm a guard in basketball. That's not good,
Yeah, it's all a bit crazy. Let's just check. Mark, have we got you?
Are we up and running this time?
We're up and running.
There
Mark,
we go.
you have a voice. Just to confirm, so yours is the picture with the dog, right? With that beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yes. How are you, my man? Long time.
Yeah, I'm great. I just thought I'd pop on. It's a chance to meet all the members, say a big thank you to you for all the content you put out there, and chat some football with no trolls around, really. So
yes, I do thrive off the trolls. I do love a troll. I've got this low tolerance to bullshit, which doesn't allow me to be as big as some of the other YouTubers, but it allows me to be a little bit more true. Anyway, welcome. Yeah, listen, for anybody else, you're more than welcome to come on. This will not go to anyone. The only people that can watch this back are members. They can't clip it. They can't remix it. They can't edit it. There's no way anyone else on YouTube can see this other than my channel members. So the link is there for anyone who just wants to have a chat. Mark, so Romano, Ornstein, they're all saying it's done. Justin Cochrane as well is the sticking point. And apparently he's meant to be a top coach. So happy days for Tottenham, right?
Yeah, well, I think you've probably seen in the chat, both Daigle and I, we've been Frank advocates for a while now. I wanted him before Ange, and that's not to discredit Ange. Forever grateful for the Europa League, but Frank is the man I've wanted for 2-3 years, and I think he's he can really take his places. I just caught the end of Gary, what he was saying then. Totally agree. I mean, the big plus for us is going to be that ability to adapt in different situations. It's not going to be that one style. You look at those first 10 games with Ange, blew everyone out of the water, got a little bit lucky, but once he got found out, there was no response. Whereas I think Frank, we're going to have that little bit of flexibility. He's going to change to the opposition and to our strengths. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And by the way, let me just say for anybody in the chat and anybody who comes on here, this is completely what we say here is this is us. We don't bring this up on live shows. So if I slag viewers off or if you slag anyone off, it's not going to go anywhere. All right. But let me start by slagging off a large group of people. It is crazy. No, I'm not really. It is crazy, isn't it? How many people loved the chaos? I don't know about you guys. I don't like mess. I don't like anything chaotic. I've always been, whether that's work or life, I like structure. And so many people just seem to really like the fact that, all right, we might score 4, but we'll concede 6. They loved it. Baffling to me. Baffling.
Yeah, Gary, do you want to go? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You need systems, right? Systems are what we all function in. And there needs to be some flexibility within those systems. And that's why you bring in a manager. Because if not, then like you're saying, it's just chaos the whole time. And we can't get kind of repeatable, we want to be able to repeat what we're doing. And we want to be able to win. I think it's going to be really fascinating to see who he gets in, right? Does club leadership do like they always do and just bring in, people to make money off in the future, or do we get one or two top signings? I think one or two is all we're going to get. And then what positions? Are we going to get a winger? Are we going to get a DM? Are we going to get another center back? So I'm trying not to be, make this leave out and leadership out and everything. I just want to see us act like Tottenham Hotspur, the club that we are.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Because what feels like that's happened to me, Mark, is, and I knew this was coming from some of my fellow YouTubers as well, where we talk all year about certain things and then one event changes every opinion. And it feels to me that what everyone's done now is used this kind of Ange sacking to double down on the Levy hate. Now, you all know I'm not a fan of Levy. I just think over the years, my stance has softened somewhat from, okay, I now understand that he's not in control of everything. Okay, the buck stops and all that. But Mark, do you see that now, that suddenly now Levy's getting, I think he's done the right thing and he's getting absolute pelters from left, right and centre.
I 100% agree. I'm a Levy out as well, but in this scenario, he's got it 100% spot on. And even with like opposition fans, I've obviously got friends who support Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. During the season, they were like, yeah, you got to get rid of him. Best thing for Spurs, even though they wanted him to stay. And since that cup, it's been, he deserved next season. But when you actually speak to them, you get it every day on your show. When you finally give them the stats, and I'm like, yeah, we only won 5 of 26 against the top 13. We had to beat the 15th place Premier League team to win the Europa League. His level is that bottom end of the Premier League, and he struggles against any team which has some structure and some swaz about them. And I think when you start talking to them about the differences between Ange and Frank, they're coming around as well. And I just think it's a brilliant move for us long term as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people, listen, I'm fully aware how I am, by the way, guys. If anyone thinks, does Savra realise how blasé he can be to others' opinions? I'm fully aware, right? I'm fully aware. No one needs to tell me. I just don't understand how so many people don't want a coach. Like I keep hearing, we want this manager, good managers that win now. Just don't think we've learned from the Jose and the Conte debacle that you can get in the best in the world. It doesn't really work at Spurs. And surely we need someone that comes in and says, right, look at all these players. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to develop you. I'm going to make you better. That's what we've got. And yet for some reason, people are turning up their noses, guys. Someone earlier said to me, you only liked Frank because you hated Ange. And I'm like, this is what you do. A coach, right? Everyone is a coach.
Yeah. For me, and I don't know how many regulars there are who go to the games, but for me, the games that I went to this year, I stopped after the Leicester home game. Right. I just, it was going to that game, the uncertainty around everything. I actually expected us to lose that game. But it was the uncertainty around what I was going to see. It was the uncertainty around the players, the system, and everything else. And, I don't know how Gary and Marios feel, but just being able to turn the TV on or go to a game and think, do you know what? I'm going to see some structure. I'm going to see some, a regular style of play, a defined system. Players are going to know what they're going to do. And just turning up and thinking, we got a chance in this game. I just think it's going to create a positive vibe around the club.
No, I completely agree. Marios, how are you?
I'm fine. You?
Yeah, I'm always good, man. I'm always, well, unless I'm not good, I'm good. How are you feeling?
I'm excited.
Okay. Good. Just so you know, Gary Jacob has just said that Klaus Norgard and Tom Perryman are also set to join Tottenham, along with Cochrane, along with Frank. I think there's 2 others as well, along with, I think there's a few others. I think there's like 6 of them.
Which one's the set piece coach? That was the one I was... That's the one I'm most intrigued by. Yeah.
Is that one Norgard or was that Tom someone? Let's have a look. So you've got Klaus Norgard, fitness coach Tom Perryman, Klaus Norgard. Doesn't say what it is, just says he's a member of the staff. It does say that Matt Wells and Rob Birch are expected to remain at Tottenham, though.
Oh, good.
Hang on, let me ask. Hang on, mate. Ash, which one of these is the set piece coach? Cheers. Sorry, I've got my boy who.
Sinner's just put Keith Andrews, is it?
Well, Keith Andrews.
Is that the former player?
Yeah, Keith Andrews. Yeah. He used to play for Blackburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, centre mid, played for Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, yeah. I'm not sure about him, but what I do know is that hang on, here we go. So confirmed are Frank, his first team analyst, his head of performance, his first team set piece coach, his fitness coach, his assistant, and Norgard. So there's like 7 of them. And can we just spare a little bit of? Can we just take a moment to spare some thought for Brentford? We've literally gone in there. It's like us 4 rocking up to a party, seeing 4 blokes and their wives, and we leave with their wives. Just leave them all there. Like we've just. So the set piece is a set piece coach is a free agent. He was with Man United. Norgard fitness coach. Wow. So 7 or 8 people.
I read or I heard that one of them they wanted to keep, and they're potentially trying to raise him up to be the head coach. I can't remember which one.
That was Justin Cochrane.
Yeah.
That was Cochrane.
Yeah.
He's also a coach for the England team. So apparently they've been the amount of times you hear the word apparently, right? Like everyone knows somebody who knows somebody at the club and all this kind of stuff, and you hear all this information. Apparently a lot of the talks were about whether or not we were going to allow him to continue doing the international work as well, which I can't see a problem with that in theory. So the set piece coach apparently is Andreas Georgeson. But yeah, I don't know if you guys know, Brentford last year conceded 2 goals from set pieces. 2 all season.
Yeah, they had the best defensive set play record in the leagues, didn't they? From what I remember, they conceded the least. So that'll be a nice addition. Sav, what's the data analyst's name? The guy who's come in? Because if it's the guy that was on that high performance documentary, he seemed brilliant.
Not sure. Let me try and find out. I've got so many people WhatsApping me. It's honestly, when you're on YouTube, everyone bombards you with information. They're like, "Oh my God, have you heard the news about?" Yeah. Don't worry, I've already done a show on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me find out. I'll find out all the names for you. So if they all join, I'm being told here, there'll be 6 heads under Frank, plus Wells and Birch. So you'll have 6 under. Oh, hang on. Somebody's done something to their setting there. Hello. I think it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. Sorry, it was really squeaky. So it's going to be Frank, 6 underneath him, 7, 8 underneath him with Wells and Birch. So there's your 9 coaches. So for anyone that wants to know what the holdup was, this isn't a case of just going to get one man. This was, imagine all the contracts and the lawyers and but it's done. It's done.
Here's another interesting fact, Sav. I think they scored 5 goals off throw-ins last year. Brentford did. And I'm like, hey, if we can tighten up at the back, and like it's always these little things, right, that set the good teams apart from the great teams. And, if we can tighten up our set pieces, if we can get the front 3, to start really functioning, maybe get another player or 2 in, I don't think it's unreasonable to look at, 7th or 8th next season. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, for me, we know we can score a decent amount of goals. I know it went downhill towards the end of Ange to a degree, but we can score a decent amount of goals. The issue was the goals conceded down the other end. Frank's not going to let that happen with the players we've got, particularly if he gets to 6. So, for me, I think, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I think for me, a realistic season would be top 8 if we invest well in the summer, and then, a decent cup run if we can get anything from the Champions League, great. But for me personally, the Champions League is a bonus for next season. The priority has to be re-establish ourselves domestically. Do you think it depends on? I mean, I've been very reluctant to say so far what position I think Spurs should be, purely because I do want to see who we bring in. It's not that I'm doubting him as a coach. It's just there are a lot of games with Champions League, and I want to see who he gets. Now, I've heard, pinch of salt, take this as you want. I've heard that Thomas Frank had three conditions to join the club. One was that he came with his staff, and we know Levy doesn't normally like that, and Levy's done it. I know no one's giving Levy credit now. Everyone's saying it's Vinay Venkatesham. Suddenly, when something good happens, Levy can't take any of the credit. So apparently that was number one. Number two was that he wanted a number 6. He wanted assurances that he'd be allowed to bring in the number 6. And the third one was that he wanted either Mbeumo or Semenyo. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds like it could be with all the reports of Semenyo and us trying to take Mbeumo. I mean, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? If Levy gives him the 6, gives him Semenyo or Mbeumo, he's given him his coaching staff. We can't ask for a lot more, really, can we? No, for me personally, Semenyo or Eze, and then for me the other priority would be a 6. And if we can get those two, then, yes, Levy has had a lot of stick in the past, but I think we've got to finally, applaud him for what he's done over the summer at least. Give him some credit for what he's done this year. And if he gives Frank the foundations to get off to a good start, then, credit where it's deserved. Same with Ange. Won us a trophy. Ultimately, credit for that, but wasn't good enough overall. But you give out the credit and the praise when it's, when it's deserved and earned. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Ryan, welcome to the show. By the way, I heard police sirens, so I'm guessing it was either someone who lived in America or London. So it wasn't me. So I'm guessing that was at your end, Gary. Was it the old police sirens? Because Marios is in Cyprus, and they're too nice out there to have the sirens. Mark, where are you? I'm in Wales. I'm in Cardiff. You're in Wales, yeah, lovely. Yeah. Ryan, where are you based?
Greenock.
Where's Greenock?
Scotland.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was definitely Gary. There's crime going on in New York as we speak. Ryan, looks like it's done. Looks like everyone now can stop getting their knickers in a twist about where's the news. I reckon it will officially be announced either tonight now or first thing in the morning, maybe another Friday morning. But Tottenham have acted quick, Ryan. In the space of 7 days, in the space of 11 days since Daniel Levy's back from holiday, it's all changed at Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, Sam, first of all, I wanted my Levy back, and now where's my Levy gone? Because this is not Levy working quickly. Blimey, man, come on. Have we got a new Levy or something? I mean, look, applause to him. I don't like Levy, but Levy, you're doing everything right at the moment. Can we keep this up now and actually bring in an Eze and a defensive midfielder? That would be absolutely fan-blinking-tastic.
Can I just ask, Ryan, you know how we all talk about Eze? Have we ever thought that maybe Frank doesn't want him? Have you noticed? We all go, get Eze. Just maybe he doesn't want him. I'm just devil's advocate.
Well, Sav, hey, look, it's good you're not doing it on a main channel because you'd be getting called everything under the sun after this. But no, seriously, I don't know. I mean, I like Eze. Does Frank like Eze? Do you know what? I think he probably does. I mean, it's just an opinion. I think he does, but I could be totally wrong because I don't. Sorry, Sav, say that again.
Who wouldn't? I mean, if I'm Thomas Frank and someone says fancy a bit of Eze, I can't imagine he's going to go. No, I'm all right, mate. I've got Brennan Johnson. You know what I mean? I feel like I just can't imagine it.
Yeah, I can't imagine it either, Sav. And do you know what? It's just funny that how people like say, well, we need this and we need that. Well, it's funny, right? Because I was on a different show yesterday, yeah, right? And I must have done something right, Sav, because I absolutely rattled somebody yesterday.
Go on, who'd you rattle?
I was on. I don't think they'll mind me saying it because you know who it probably is. It's Dave's channel. I rattled somebody, and because I said I was literally saying that Ange wasn't the right man. He's in inverted fullbacks. His high line was absolutely trash, and I just rattled. God, it's funny how you can rattle all these Ange fans just by saying you don't like him because he's trash because he plays this and this. It's funny. It's absolutely funny. And then I'm the one that's apparently disrespecting Ange.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, guys? I mean, look, I do hope that as we move forward now, the name Ange will stop being used as I don't know, a barometer of anything. Like already we're hearing that, oh, well, the next manager's got to win a trophy or he's failed. And you're like, well, hang on. Ange has just managed to have the lowest win rate for however many years, lose more games than we've ever seen before and still got a cult following. Do you think some of that cult following are going to kind of fade away now and just get behind the manager, or will they just fade away completely, guys?
I think they... Oh, go on, Brian, you go.
Okay, yeah, no, I actually don't think it will go, Sav. I think it will stay just so that everyone, all the Ange lovers will just try and hate on Frank now just to try and get him to leave quicker. Just like, it's just ridiculous. I think they should just get behind the team now, right, and just help the team out a bit. It's personally what I think, and back this manager personally. And then if it does go wrong, right, I think at that point we just need to be united. Basically, we just need to unite and just get behind this manager. Is what I think we need to do at this point, Sav. And I know everyone on this. Well, I don't know I can't talk for everyone else, but I am guaranteeing that 9 times out of 10, everyone on this panel will get behind Frank until something radically goes wrong. Like there's only consistency of losing, because I know Sav likes that word consistency, but he doesn't like the losing part of it. He likes the consistency of winning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys, how patient is our fan base going to be with Frank? Is it going to be really split from the get-go?
Yeah. This is what I was going to come to, was I think it's going to be really split, like Ryan says. And I don't know about everyone else, but for me, towards the latter stages of Ange is probably the most toxic I can remember, the split between the fan base. And if that's going to continue, then it's not going to help Frank. It's not going to help the fan base. It's not going to help Spurs as a club. So, you know, I'm one where, yes, I will say I don't think a manager is good enough, but as you know, I'll back it up with the stats and the facts.
Yeah.
So I'll be the first one to call out Frank if it's not going well after a period of time. But like Ryan says, I think the key now is to get behind him, particularly if Levy delivers the players that Frank needs and wants. Otherwise, if we go back to how toxic it was, you know, particularly in the last 2-3 months, then it is going to end badly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll make you right there. I mean, let me ask the rest of you. We've had some really shit managers and shit teams in the 40 years I've been supporting Spurs. But I think Mark's right. I don't think that last 6 months I've ever seen anything quite like it. And I know I don't help. Obviously, I'm out here every day, get Ange out, get him out. Apparently, I got him sacked. But I mean, Mark, welcome to the show. Gary, Marios, you guys. I mean, he's massively divisive. Even now, like the sacking. Look, to be fair, there's some people that have stopped. Even like my mate, the hippie, has kind of gone, look, fair, he's gone. Nothing I can do. Get behind the new manager. But other people are taking this shit deep. Other people, it's like somebody's killed their mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is deep for some of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Gary. Sorry.
I was going to say, this is like a bad movie, Sava. We've seen these, you know, where somebody gets way too infatuated with somebody else. They got to cut it off, but they don't want to. And it's a little disconcerting. But I think I think once he comes in, right, we start to see some of the outgoings. And once we get that first player, and if we get somebody, right, who's like truly top level, like we've talked about, like an Eze, whoever else it may be, Semenyo, and we start looking towards the Super Cup and we start looking towards next season, I think the fever is gonna wane.
My phone just pinged with a Tottenham update, but it's not. It's just Archie Gray. So, one for Lubo.
No doubt Lubo will be sent. I get messages from Lubo all day, every day, and it's normally something to do with Archie Gray or Jamie Donnelly or something.
Saba,
Yeah,
the one thing
look,
I wanted to
you're right.
the one thing I wanted to chat about was how you think the players will react to Frank. You know, all these, you know, the social media posts saying devastated Ange has left. You know, I won't say who, but I talked to people who were on the pitch in Bilbao with the players, and the ones I've spoken to, they're delighted Frank's coming in. So, yeah, this whole thing of the PR and the social media saying devastated Ange's gone, I do think is just for show, and I do think
you've got it right, Mark. That's what it is. PR, yeah. Exactly, 100%, mate. Exactly, yeah.
Just quickly, breaking news: Kevin De Bruyne has just signed for Napoli. Kevin De Bruyne, imagine that. Hey, Kevin
what
De Bruyne.
a midfield for Napoli.
I tell you what, he's done a great job there, hasn't he? If only we could get a manager like, wait, been there, haven't we? Yeah, look, guys, it's interesting. So someone's just broken this down for me and said that Frank will have 8 staff underneath him. So it works like this. So obviously, Thomas Frank will be the manager. The assistant manager is Justin Cochrane. The assistant coach is Klaus Norgard. Not the Norgard who plays in central midfield, by the way, although I would very much take him for a couple of years. I think he's an excellent footballer. Matt Wells will be a coach. Joe Newton is his analyst. I think that might have been who you were talking about. Joe Newton is his analyst. Head of athletic performance is Chris Haslam. Fitness coach is Tom Perryman. Goalie coach is going to be Rob Birch. And set piece coach is Andreas Georgeson. So there it is, guys. There's the new look Spurs coaching setup. And now what's going to happen is we're all going to go, yay! Right. Where's our signings? Right. We're all going to move straight to that in the next few hours. Right. But it just feels, I don't know, maybe I am acting like a kid here. Maybe I am being a bit delusional. It just feels different. I can't explain it. It feels different. And normally I'm cynical.
Do you know what it is? It's because this is coming across like there's a clear plan. There's a strategy. Right. Even down to Ange's coaches last time. They've been sacked from Hibs. You know, he just got in whoever was interested to a degree. This seems to be Frank coming in going, you want to be successful? This is what I need. Deliver it and we'll get on with it. And that's where my excitement is coming. Similar to going to the games next season and knowing what to expect. I think it's just all about structure. There seems to be a clear path this time. And again, I'm going to tip my hat to Levy for doing the groundwork early on. You know, I'm a Levy out most of the time, but, you know, this time he seems to have finally, you know, done what is needed for the club.
Well, it seems, doesn't it? It seems that, you know, all the talks that Charrington joined the board as a non-exec director in March. And if I'm right, somebody a lot cleverer than me, I know, my man Gary, I know you're bloody intelligent. I know what you do for a living, mate. If I'm not wrong, Charrington left as the CEO of City Group to set up his own company, and his only client was the Lewis portfolio. I say his only client. It's a bloody big client, isn't it? So Lewis trusts him, has put him on the board as a non-exec director in March. And then April, May, June, less than 3 months later, 12 weeks later, he's gone, right, Donna Cullen out, manager out, Mason out, coaches out, female team manager out, 7 new staff in. It feels like that has all changed at the top, right, Gary? I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but all the dots are connecting, aren't they?
When did you say he came in? Sorry.
He came in March, didn't he, as a non-exec director?
Okay.
It feels like a takeover, Sav. Like, when you do like an M&A or you bring in, like a PE firm, like they come in, they assess what's going on, take some people out, put some of their people in. It's very like, to Mark's point, it's very professional and structured right now, which is why it's so different to us, because most of the time Levy doesn't say anything. We get signings at the end of the window. It's always chaotic. We have managers that are pissed off because they don't get the players they want. We don't spend what we want. And so it's a little shocking to the system. So I'm interested to see if there's something bigger brewing out there, right? If they're setting us up over the next year and a half, right, to be sold. They're like, hey, let's get a good, solid team in here, right? Let's get us established back in the PL. Let's get this money from Champions League. Let's maybe try to go for another domestic cup, and then let's pull the trigger on sale.
Yeah, the reason I asked about when he was starting, when he started, and I may be totally off here, is because my background is my postgrad was HR, so I do a lot of HR management and change management and stuff like that. I'm one of the nice ones though. From a HR
I'm talent acquisition by trade, so I sat with you lot, but we had fun. Yeah. You lot didn't, and then we always got in trouble for it. So
that's why I got out of there. But from a perspective of him going in, for that size of an organization, legally, you give them 3 months for the consultation period to review before you release anyone. So from a HR perspective, that would fit in as well, from a legal perspective. So, just little things like that. So,
Sava, have you thought that all this change might be heading towards, again, another European Super League? Whether we have to be in a certain, not 17th to get in there. It just seems strange, this massive cull of everybody going, and then suddenly people bringing in, and we're more clear thinking now. We've got it just seems all a bit strange now, mate.
Yeah, listen, I kind of go with the theory of what Gary said. Mm-hmm. It feels very much to me that it's takeover, i.e., if you're going to sell the club, Levy's too close to it to do it. Levy's too close to it. He owns 33% of ENIC. He's got invested interest all over the place. This is his baby. It kind of makes sense to me that if you were going to have someone that was going to go in and sell the club, you would have someone that goes in first and says, right, I know this sounds ridiculous, but what are we selling? What are we selling? What shape are we in? What's going to be what's going to be exciting to prospective buyers? What's going to put them off? Okay, cool. What can we do to remedy that? Well, we can say we got rid of all these bad apples, and this is what we've implemented, ready for a new structure. But more than that, Charrington hasn't got skin in the game if he was going to be the one to oversee it. Charrington's a businessman that works for Joe Lewis, right? So I don't know. It just kind of feels like that. It feels like, I don't know. We could be completely wrong, and Daniel Levy's here for another 10 years. I don't know, but it's all happening. It's all happening. The clean sweep. I'm so happy my clean sweep prediction came in. I think I got one wrong, which was Lang. I'm gutted about that. But
was that your ACCA, Sav, for the?
No. I should have done it though, because. Listen, guys, for me, the only reason I came to that conclusion, and that was back, when was Vinay announced? Beginning of April, maybe, something like that. And I just thought to myself, like Ryan said earlier, where's Levy? Why has Levy not sacked this manager? Any other manager that gets to the bottom half gets sacked. Like any manager that gets 7 or 8 points away from the top 4 gets sacked. And this man, it was like, all right, we're only 6 points away from the top 4. All right, we're only 10. All right, we're only 15. Oh, we're only 10 points off the top half. Oh, we're only, and it got worse and worse and worse. And I thought there has to be a reason why he's not sacked him. Has to be a reason, right?
Now, the only reason, the part that threw me was that when you normally have a takeover, the existing manager stays until the takeover happens, and then they get rid of him. So that's what threw me with Frank coming in first.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
because if the takeover happens now, then they could effectively go, yeah, Frank's not the guy I want. Boom, out you go. But is it a case of they know who the takeover is going to, and they're getting that manager in ready? I don't know, but
yeah.
I mean, the problem is, right, though, why would you bring in a different manager, right, for someone else who's taking over if they don't actually want him, but they're saying, look, we'll give him a good a run and then see how it goes from there? That wouldn't make no sense. Why wouldn't you just keep Ange in charge until the takeover's been done, and then they get their own manager in? Because you're literally... That's the only thing that's baffling me a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, Sav, right? I know you do,
Ryan, it can work two ways. You know, if you're going to sell something, the prospective buyers, yes, could want to come in and go, I'm getting rid of everything, or they want to come into a steady ship. Because some owners will want to come in and listen. I'm sure we've all worked for companies, right, where a new boss comes in or new owners take over, and the first thing they do is they rip everything from the ground up, and you're like, oh, you've done too much too soon. It was fine. And then you've got other owners that come in and want to assess the situation for 3, 6, 9, 12 months, do their own deep dive. So I suppose you could look at it either way, right? But it's more attractive with a stable coaching setup and hopefully a team that aren't near relegation than it would be for a team that lose every week. Just a theory.
Yeah, I mean, but Sav, right, if you was to put an ACCA on now, right, to say that there'd be a takeover in 12 months, what would your odds be for that from where we are today?
50 to 1? I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe we've all read too much into it, and all it was Charrington came in to have an audit, and Lewis has finally realised that, hang on, I own that club by proxy. And has said to Levy, Charrington and Vinay, sort this shit out. Like, sort this shit out. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe Lewis has got fuck all to do with it. Maybe at the age of whatever he is, 80, whatever, maybe he's just sitting there with his 95 wives and masseuse people on an island like Epstein was, and he's just chilling. Who knows? I have no idea. No idea, mate. Would you give a shit at that age? If you're a billionaire, would you want that hassle?
No, not really. And to be honest, right, but I don't like the way that Lewis has done it in any way, shape, or form. I get there's been controversy with him in over the past 5-6 years or whatever it is, but he should just sell his shares and then just get Levy out as well. It'd just be so much. Get Levy out and then sell the 100% shares off to whoever. That's the only way I would have liked to have seen this have gone though, but I don't know if it would even go that way now.
See, I think Come On You Purrs is spot on. That's what I think it is. I think it's just someone's come in, giving them a slap around the face, pull your act together, just going off the face before any takeover. That's what I would guess.
Yeah. I mean, something has changed. Something has changed. You can't ask for change. Oh, hang on, Pete. You need to go somewhere a little less wind resistant, I would say, or a little bit more wind resistant.
Sorry, mate. 2 seconds.
That's all right. No worries, mate. No worries. But the one thing I've always said about these guys is when we ask them to sell and change and stuff, we have a thought that, like, I'm a big believer in when you've got billionaires, they're billionaires for a reason, right? When you've got businessmen like this, and I know we always want to go, oh, they're shit businessmen. They're not. They bought Tottenham for like 20 million. They're going to end up selling it for about 4 billion. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I think that's quite a big profit. I'm not the world's best businessman, but surely all of these companies, they have an exit plan. When they built this stadium, they would have had a plan in mind, right? That this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to implement. And these are our projected exit dates. For all we know, 2026 could be the projected date. 2030 could be. But if they have got a projected date, they're not going to sell it earlier because a few people are upset on a high street.
See, I don't know, Sav, because like I'm not like you said, I'm no businessman, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was enough people that were really absolutely hacked off and they needed their exit date earlier. It wouldn't surprise me, Sav. It really wouldn't. Because it'd be the most Spursiest thing that we'd ever have done.
What I know, Sab, a little bit about banking is usually they bring in the bankers, right? Which that's what Charrington did. And they start to assess value. And you want stability, right? You want projections of like revenue and assets and looking at their capital planning. So if they are doing it, like you said, it could be 4 or 5 years away, depending upon what the Lewis family wants. But it just feels like, to your point, there's something different right now. So hopefully it's a good different, not just, a bad different.
By the way, someone got the show on in the background. I can just hear. I can hear myself and anyone who's talking. I can hear in the background. I think it was Pete. Yeah, he's got. It was definitely Pete. He's gone. Yeah, listen. Gary, you're right. You're absolutely right. But look, the main thing is we asked for change. Is this enough for some people, guys? Is this enough, or is Levy going to ultimately be judged on the 4 or 5 players that we bring in?
Yeah, I think it's on the players as well. For me, yeah. I mean, do we have? We said loads of time last season. A lot of it was to do with Ange and his tactics, but we don't have the squad to compete in the Champions League this year. So if we want to push on, I think it's going to take 3, 4, maybe more players, but. Yeah, Levy's done step 1, but for me personally, I think he's got to deliver some players as well, and not just I've heard you talk about it loads of times, but not just these young players with sell-on value. We need a bit of experience now to settle the team down to help the youngsters grow and really push us on, in the Champions League this year.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, if any of you see me muting your mics, I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to work out where that noise is coming from. Pete, welcome to the show. You wanted to throw a curveball. I like a curveball.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a thought that I've had. I think I've dropped it in the chat the other day with regards to a comment Ruud Gullit made about Van der Ven. Now, he said that he reminded him of...
Oh, Pete.
Oh, that was going to be interesting as well.
He's left us on the cliffhanger.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. And now he's we're now looking for a number 6, right?
Hang on, is that the beginning of your story? Because we lost you right from the moment you started talking, just so you know.
Right, okay, sorry, I'll start from the beginning. Hopefully it will not try and add me to the Wi-Fi. Well, keeps trying to jump to connect to my Wi-Fi. There you go, done. It won't do it now. I've turned my Wi-Fi connection off, which keeps jumping in and out from where I am.
Cool. Third time lucky.
Sorry. Apologies, lads. Not normally this unreliable. Right. Ruud Gullit said the other day about Van der Ven and the fact that he reminds him a lot of him, right? Now, going down that thought process, we're now looking for a top number 6. Who can cover ground, fairly solid on the ball, can carry the ball out from defence and spray a pass. Is there any chance, or what's people's thoughts on potentially using Van der Ven as that 6 and then going and get another top quality centre-half like, say, a Mark Gay?
Not for me.
No.
Not for me. Not for me.
I think Hullit's underselling himself if he said
Hullit was a striker as well, a forward, not a defender.
Oh,
when we started.
I think it's difficult, right? I feel like I get it. I feel like for years though at Spurs, and I'm sure other fan bases do it as well, we keep trying to put people in positions that isn't theirs. Like I've heard, what about Romero at 6? What about Van der Ven at 6? What about Porro at right wing? What about this player out on the left? For me, I just want a player that knows that position. I want a guy that is his natural position, plays it, knows it, is reliable with his fitness. I don't think Mickey van der Ven's a good enough footballer to play that role. I think it's a really specialised role. I think it's a really specialised thought process, positional sense, awareness, control of the ball. I don't know. I don't see him as that. That's just me. I could be wrong. Same with Romero. I've heard for ages. Wouldn't he be a good number 6? No, he's too rash.
No, he dives in too much.
Goes diving in. I don't know. For me, I just want us to go and buy them. I want us to go, right, we need a 6. Right, let's buy a 6. Yeah, we need a winger. Sod it. Let's buy a winger. I don't want to hear about Porro being used as a right-sided forward. But I don't know. Do you think he could do it, Pete? Do you think Van der Ven could play the number 6?
I think because Frank's not a full footballing, flowing system. So when he plays a 6, he tends to sit and then he's a bit of a water carrier. You can't tell me that you can't pick up a ball and lay it off 6, 12 yards to, say, a Bergvall, Madison, or an Eze, which is what your dream is, and then sit back in the middle of them 3. Now, I'm not going to lie, he's not my ideal pick, but I'm just thinking if we're looking at how we're going to be able to spend money and we're a bit restricted, if we've got Danso in already as a potential defender, and we are apparently looking at James Collins, and then there's that lad at Brighton that's fairly decent, could we potentially utilise him and see how that goes? Potentially, yeah, because I think a number 6 are very, very scarce. And if we're going to get a top quality one, we're looking at good 70, 80 million for a really high one.
Do you think he's good enough? I look at him on the ball. I always think he looks a little bit hurried. Like, and when I look at the top number 6s, I feel like, well, top centre mids, they've always got time on the ball. They look calm. They look composed. I just don't see it. I genuinely don't see it, what you're seeing, if I'm honest. I don't see it. It's just my opinion.
I get it. It was just, as I said, it was a curveball. It was one of those, is that what he's hinting at? Is that what he sees? Can he be potentially? Because to me, he's not a quality proper centre half either. Because he gets caught out too often. Yeah.
I think he'd be brilliant on the left side of a back 3.
Yeah, agreed.
No, agreed.
Where he can use his pace to come over and cover the left wing back who's bombing forward. He can slot in. I think he's got a lot to listen. I know a lot of fans. Like we're in a safe space here. By the way, we're only going to go for another 5-6 minutes. I'm on the Football's 12th Man podcast in a minute. I look at Mickey van der Ven a bit different to everyone else. I think he gets raved about. I think he gets absolutely raved about as though he's Toby Alderweireld or Jan Vertonghen. And for me, I think that it's one of those that he's elevated through his absence. Same with Romero. I think we elevate them through their absence rather than the performances I see from them. Is that harsh, or anyone know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's really gone.
No, go on, you go. That's fine.
I was to say, I think it's really hard to judge any defenders at all that have played under that absolute atrocity that we've just dealt with. And
sure.
I think we all need to go, right, talk about it in a year. Let's see what we've got.
Did you see him more at Wolfsburg when he played rather than at Spurs? Did you see him much when he played for Wolfsburg?
I watched enough of him at Wolfsburg. And again, they didn't rely on his pace solely as Ange did. So I think there's a degree of what Pete said. My worry is that not so much Van der Ven. I mean, Van der Ven, my big worry is about his injury and his crap in the air, which is for someone that big, that is a travesty. Yeah. But my biggest worry is that, we saw Romero under Conte as well, who is a top defensive minded coach. And I thought he had great games under him and shit games under him as well. And he looked, I don't know. I feel like these two are so overhyped because they hardly play. So what people start doing is they start finding these narratives, don't they? Oh, if they had played every game together, we would have been second.
Second in the league.
No, we wouldn't. What you want about seconds? So I just like solid, dependable footballers. There's been some really good players down the years that won't get any credit, but I just thought you just did a job. Scotty Parker never gets talked about as one of the greatest players we've ever seen in midfield. Knew what I was getting week in, week out from Scotty Parker at centre mid. You know what I mean? Yeah. Palacios. Yeah, players like that. Dawson, just solid footballers.
Not
Seems like
flashy.
that window.
Yeah, for me, going back to the three centre backs, that's something, you know, I think players like Danso would benefit from having Mickey on the left of the three. You got Danso then, who is probably the strongest in the air to cover for Mickey's weaknesses in the air, and then Romero was the other, you know, one in the three,
right.
which, you know, I think there you got a nice balance. You're cancelling weaknesses out by another player, etc., and it allows Udogie and Porro to get up as well. So, but
would it also help with going three at the back, the two youngsters coming back, Vuskovic, Phillips, and Dorrington playing three at the back rather than a flat back four, having a Romero, Danso, or a Van der Van next to him, rather than just playing two at the back as well.
Agreed. I mean, you stick a six. You actually have some fullbacks that actually are fullbacks and not midfielders. I think you see a massive difference. Listen, we all know Frank's not going to do this crazy shit, don't we? We all know Thomas Frank's not going to go on, lads. Continue doing what you were doing last year. So I'm just so happy. I want to go and watch Spurs train now. I want to watch his coaching sessions.
But Sam, do you know what? I found out what we're rebuilding from yesterday.
Go on.
The trophy that we won. That's what apparently we're rebuilding from. It's funny, isn't it? It's absolutely hilarious that we're rebuilding from a trophy.
Rebuilding from putting 10 men behind the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's a joke, isn't it, Sam? It's really funny, mate. I find it highly hilarious.
Oh, mate, I don't get it. I think we're in this era, and again, I don't want to belittle anyone who's younger or whatever. So I'm sure the older people on the chat will know what I mean. There's too many buzzwords that are just flying around football now, like, you know, rebuild,
project.
And you're like, oh, fuck off. Like, this isn't, not everything's a project. You bring coaches in, their job is to coach the team and build and grow and implement sustainability and solidity. And everyone's going, oh, his ceiling and his ceiling's better than his. How the fuck, right? Does little Johnny, who's 18 years of age, sitting on his YouTube, knows the difference in the ceilings between Bergvall and Jamie Donnelly, for example? Like, what does that mean? Like, just
even the tactical element, you know, did we have double pivot?
No.
And whatnot, you know, growing up, there was none of that. It was just, you know, central midfielder, maybe a defensive midfielder, but now it's, I mean, it's such a robotic game now, though, isn't it, compared to, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so robotic. Nowadays, my man, you all know my love for this man.
Yeah.
If my man played now, everyone would be going, oh, but if you look at his stats and he hasn't covered
running stats.
Just my head hurts talking football all day. Honestly. I go to bed talking football to myself, constantly, just constantly. Guys, is there anything anyone would like to say before we wrap up? We will do. We'll have one of these once a week, just because it's nice to not have trolls. Just
quickly, I was just interested in your thoughts about because obviously I heard that from Stel a while ago that obviously that Ange was going to implement his youth, you know, through the whole teams. Will Frank implement his style? Will it go through all the teams, all the way through? Do we know? Because I don't know what happens at Brentford, because I'm not connected to Brentford.
Well, they didn't have an academy, did they?
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Mark's hit the nail on the head. So what Brentford haven't done is they haven't had an academy. So what they've done with younger players and kind of squad rotation players, they travel all over, like to Scandinavia, and they play lots of games against random teams, and that's where they scout their players from. So they develop them that way. That's a bloody good point. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But let's hope that the youth teams weren't implementing Ange's strategy across the board. Let's hope that our under-8s weren't playing with two little kids at the back and everyone else bombing forward up the pitch. You know,
My hope is that his experience, with the youth at youth level with Denmark will, come into play. So it's not like he's alien to it. So I'm confident.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Anybody got anything else they'd like to say? Anything at all?
Just ask Stanley.
Stanley is sleeping, and when Stanley is sleeping, it's always calm and good. And then as soon as his eyes open, I go, "Oh, this is going to be a crazy few hours." He's good. He's good. He's getting massive now as well, so he's good. Thank you for asking. Ryan, Marios, Mark. Who else did we have? We had Gary. We had Pete. Big up to each and every one of you. We will do. I was terrible at doing these last year. We'll do one of these every week. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix up the days and the times. I'm aware some people will be able to do some they won't. I'll never be able to get a time that everyone does. It's just not possible. Listen, this is there, and just a thank you from me to you guys as channel members, because without you guys, the channel doesn't grow. So thank you very much.
Yeah, really nice to meet you all.
You too, Mark. Very
Just
easy.
so you know, I'm not as
Right.
big a cunt as they make me out to be. All right, just a little one. Everyone in the chat, big up. Thank you all, guys, girls, everyone in the chat. I'll be back live tonight at 8 p.m. And I've got a feeling we might get an announcement. So take care. See you later. And as always, come on. You Spurs.
Take care, everyone.